Welcome to Module 8, Week 1, and how to teach how to add two-digit numbers to your students. This week in Module 8, Week 1 in reading, we will be doing Story Path, which is a diagram, and we'll be looking at the text features of it. We also will be reading Chicken Little, which the kids will probably have a lot of fun with, and Interrupting Chicken. It's a great story that the kids will get to interact with. Our essential question for this module is, what lessons can we learn from stories? There is a Hispanic proverb that says, lesson learned when you are young last a lifetime. We have read a lot of different types of stories this year, and we are going to continue reading some different stories this module, which students will learn different lessons from. Reading comprehension, we have a couple anchor charts that students will interact with that they'll need to be able to locate information and know what different things are. For example, the first one is text features. Students will need to know that text authors use text features to help them locate information. Zero in a couple is bold text. They will need to know that bold text mean it's whatever they're looking at is important. They'll also be using a diagram, which is an illustration, or a photograph that is labeled to find information on their weekly assessment. They will use those two pieces. Characters is another anchor chart that they will need to know. They'll need to know what a character is. Characters are people, animals, or things a story is about. They'll look for clue words to tell them who the characters are. They'll need to know what the character looks like and what the character thinks and feels, says, and does. They'll also learn why the character thinks, says, and does what the character does. We will have some vocabulary strategies that are really important for students. The first one is words about actions and direction. They'll learn that verbs are words that name action. Action words tell someone or something what someone or something is doing. Directions tell where a person or thing is moving or going. Here are some examples. They're right here on the slide for you. She can climb up the steps. Just ask your student which one is the action word, which one is the direction words. Those are some ways you can interact with your student and helping them to understand actions and directions. The next is the vocabulary strategy of classifying and categorizing. So classifying and categorizing. Classifying is when you sort words into groups. Categorizing is naming those groups. You can do this with your students by writing different words on pieces of paper, and they go through and decide slide is an action, position, or an order word. You can have those three categories, or you can just have two. I wrote some action and some position words to sort into two separate categories. You can simply do that on just paper with your students. That is the end of reading. Let's jump into math. Have you ever wanted to be able to help your student in math and just been at a loss with this new math? I'm going to give you a couple strategies that we've learned that the students have been using to add multi-digit numbers. We're going to add the number 27 plus 9. We're going to use a 100 chart to add these two numbers together. Here's our 100 chart. We're going to start at the number 27 because it is the largest number. So we're going to circle 27, and then we're going to count on 9 times to find out our new number. So we'll start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and circle the 9th one, which is our answer. So that's the easiest strategy when you're adding ones to a 2-digit number, is to count on. Now we're going to use another strategy to add multi-digit numbers in tens. We're going to use a 100 chart again. Here's our 100 chart. But this time, instead of starting with the largest number, we're going to start with 23 because it is easier to count on tens this way. So we'll start at the number 23. We drew a star around it. Students know is each row is a 10. So if you go directly down, you have 110. And then down one more time, you have 2. You're going to go on until you get to 5 tens, 3, 4, 5. And I drew another star around it when I got to my answer. All right, the third strategy we are going to use is adding multi-digit numbers using models. So a model is when you draw out the tens and ones. The lines equal 10 and the dots equal 1. And so as you can see here, we're representing 32 plus 28. There are 3 lines, 2 ones, and then there are 2 lines and 8 ones on the other side. We're going to start by using a strategy called making a 10. And we do that by adding the ones. So we're going to draw a circle around the ones and put those in one group. 8 plus 2 is 10, so we made a 10, and we have none left over. So now we have 6 tens. Those are the strategies for multi-digit addition of multi-digit numbers. I hope that you guys find this helpful. And if you like my video and want to support me on this journey of helping your children learn, go ahead and subscribe.